Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Bobby Pominville, and I'm the reporter on the arts. Well, today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, the Artful Garden Tour, which I'm involved with, and both of these ladies actually helped me. But first, I want to say the dates. June 26th, 10 to 4, June 27, 12 to 4, and it always starts at the Octagon House, which is one of my favorite places in this town. I've always loved it, and I drive by it almost every day. Now, first, may I welcome Leila Albert to the show. She is the museum director at the Octagon House, and she holds a BA and an MA in history. That's a Master of Arts, of course. And I want to thank you for hosting the Octagon House Gardens every year for the Artful Garden Tour, and including the Octagon House. So thank you so much for doing that. I don't know if I ever stopped to tell you. And so I have a couple questions. And first, would you tell us about your job at the Octagon House and the connection with the St. Croix Historical Society?
Sure. So the Octagon House Museum is owned and operated by the St. Croix County Historical Society, which was founded many, many years ago by Genevieve Klein Day and Willis Miller. I'm sure we all know their names here in Hudson. So the Historical Society owns and operates the Octagon House Museum, which I'm the director of. So I'm involved in planning the events that take place each year, in scheduling tours, recruiting volunteers, receiving donations from people in the area, and helping out with everything that I can help out with to keep the place running smoothly for all of our visitors who come to see us.
Oh, I just love that you're there, because I've heard you speak many times, and you really are such a good supporter of that house. Now, what is happening there this summer? I need to know. I need to be there.
Yes, we have lots of events planned. Actually, one of our new events planned for this summer is an artistic lettering session. Actually, we have a number of them. There's about 4 or so each month for the season. We have a wonderful artistic lady, Naomi Quimby, who will be teaching these sessions. There's everything from storybook letters, calligraphy, Celtic letters, Viking letters, all kinds of different ways of taking simple letters and making them artistic, creative, and lots of fun. Of course, we also have our guided walking tours. We have the historic 3rd Street walking tour and the Willow River Cemetery Walk. Both of those are filled with a lot of information and a great way to spend a morning or an afternoon. And one thing that I would like to say is that although we schedule these things about once a month throughout the season, we've organized them in a way that if there's just a couple of people who want to take one of them, you just get a hold of us and say, hey, I'd like to do this tour with me and a couple of friends, or my brother, or my grandpa, or my niece, whoever it might be. And we will do our best to schedule a time that works out for people, because that's been our focus recently, is doing things private and small and still interactive. Then we also have, for people who don't want that interaction, we have self-guided walking maps available. They're on the front porch of the Octagon House. They're always there. We have a little basket. It's kind of an honor system. So if you'd like to take one of these self-guided tours, there's 3 different tours available. Just leave $1, take a map, and have a great time.
Very accommodating. I love that idea. Now, you didn't mention one of my favorites, and that's the farmers market.
Oh, yes.
But you already started that. I didn't know.
Yeah, so the farmers market will take place the third Tuesday of each month during the summer. We have one scheduled coming up here June 15th, another July 20th, another August 17th, and the last one of the season will be September 21st. Now, all of these go from 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock, and our assistant director, Tori Boomsma, who lives kitty corner from the Octagon House Museum. She's a really great girl, and she has really organized wonderful markets with local vendors only who produce all of their own products. So everything's locally made, locally grown, and really good quality merchandise, great produce. So come and see us at any of those farmers markets.
Well, I always come out of there with a bag. And I
Mhm.
always have to get a bigger bag. And one thing I really
Yes,
like is
I do the same.
And I think you
Yeah.
had apple tarts or little apple pies one time. And oh my
Mhm.
goodness, that's really something I don't want to miss. It's
Yeah.
great. And I know for the guys and gals, the Civil War encampment, I have people that are interested in that.
Yes,
My
that
son.
is one of our annual events, and it
Ah,
is scheduled this year, Sunday, July 18th. I've been in contact with our Civil War reenactors, and they will be camped again on our lawn like they have been for many years now. We will have pieces from our collection here at the Historical Society on display. We'll have people dressed in era clothing, so it really is a really fun, educational, and a great way to spend some time.
Thank you so much. Those are two things that I really wanted to ask you about. Now, I was going to ask you the schedule for tours. Did you already tell me? Is it Friday through Sunday?
Yes, we offer tours Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Tours are offered on the hour at 11, 12, 1, 2, and 3 o'clock. We are asking people to make reservations because we're not mixing groups of people anymore. So every tour that a person takes is a private tour, which is really nice because you get to ask the questions you want. If you want to know all about one thing or another, that, it's really catered to the individual visitor that way. Another option new this year at the Octagon House Museum is a person can pay just a $5 admission and see only the garden house if they'd want to, which is filled with items that represent Hudson history from the 1850s through to the 1950s. There's all kinds of displays. There's a railroad display, a mercantile, a one-room school, a country kitchen, a medical area. It is just filled with all kinds of items from Hudson's past to give people kind of a visual walk through history.
I love that kind of thing. I've been in there, but now I think it's been 3 years, so I really have to do it again. Let's see, are you going to tell us about the theme for the year?
Oh, sure. Well, the
Yeah.
theme this year is creating the Hudson community. Each year at the Octagon House, of course, we have these themes so that we can really represent a different part of Hudson's past. This year, we decided to go back and look at all the different groups of immigrant people who first settled Hudson. So we talk about the French, Canadian, and French Native American community that settled here first. There's Yankees, we talk about Scottish people, some German brothers, the Montman family. There's talk about Norwegian immigrants. So it's really a great way to learn about the early history in Hudson and find out about all these different groups of people who created this wonderful place we now call home.
You always have the best themes.
Yeah.
I think it's so inviting when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but I love every one of them. Yes, I kind of like everything you do. Well, this is your last question. It's an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be a Victorian tea in the near future? That's kind of personal.
Okay, so another change that we have recently is that we're now offering smaller teas. We still have, the option down at the Phipps Center for the Arts to have the big teas with, 20 or more people. But a lot of people have been wanting things a little bit smaller, a little bit more personal. And so we decided, why not offer something like that at the Octagon House? And so now we have the Octagon House tea, which takes place either in the great gift shop that we have or in the parlor of the Octagon House Museum. So you get to sit surrounded by all of these wonderful, beautiful historic items and have just a really nice and inviting tea at the Octagon House. It's catered by Urban Olive and Vine. They do a fantastic job offering plates of sweets and savories. There's always a nice black tea and an herbal tea. So everybody is sure to enjoy one of the Octagon House teas. We have one scheduled Sunday, July 25th, another Sunday, August 22nd, and another on September 26th. And just like those guided walking tours, people also have the option, if they want to schedule something, they can call us anytime and we will work to schedule their own private tea anytime that we can.
How many people would you need then?
4 people.
Oh, excellent.
Yep, easy to put together.
Yeah, very easy. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I've learned a lot.
Pleasure.
So I want to welcome Jean to the show. She's a St. Croix Valley Master Gardener. She and I are both in the Hudson Home and Garden Club. I think she's a lot farther ahead than I am. I could ask you a lot of questions about that. She's in the St. Paul Garden Club, and she happens to be the Octagon House gardener now for 13 years. So I thank you so much for doing that. I mean, every time I drive by in the summer, it's so beautiful and different things are coming up. So first, I was going to ask you what the theme is this year. It might be similar to a little bit of what Leela said. Could you tell us about that for the gardens?
It is. Our theme, we always try to coordinate with the internal house theme. And this year, what we did is choose bright colors to represent all the different nationalities that have settled here. And so we have used bright oranges and fuchsias and reds and yellows and really kind of mixed it up to try to display all of our perennials, which are wonderful, but you always need a few annuals to perk things up.
Definitely. And in fact, in the front garden by the sign, purple and yellow.
Yes.
Those are two of my favorites.
And hopefully some red comes through pretty soon too, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, because they've been growing. As I've been driving the last few weeks, I noticed the plants are growing and growing. So, and I know what it looks like at the height of the flowers. I mean, it's always spectacular.
It's just spectacular today. I just walked through the side garden and the jasmine is in full bloom and it smells heavenly. The peonies are out and and the iris and the lilies, and it is just wonderful. So we encourage people to just come and look at our flowers and enjoy them.
And you know, I barely got out of my car in the street and I could smell it.
Mm-hmm.
It was
and the lilacs
wonderful.
were wonderful. We have antique yellow roses blooming right now, and it's just lovely. Now, it's always a work in progress, so you're going to see a few weeds, but that's okay. All gardens have weeds.
Yeah, we all deal with that. Those are really coming out after the rain, right?
Correct. And the heat today.
Well, and I know these are perennials, but the design around the house, I look at the hosta and I think it's spirea, I don't know. But anyway, what's behind the hosta? And I just go, that is so well planned and it looks so beautiful around that house.
Well, thank you. It's always a work in progress. We are taking it back. Christine McGinnis is one of our lead gardeners also.
I didn't know that.
She has her degree and many credentials in landscape architecture.
Oh.
So we are reshaping the gardens and making them look the way they possibly did when the original family lived here. And we are creating little garden vignettes. We have just planted a lot of seeds. So we hope to have a cutting garden. We've moved the roses into one spot. And we are looking to spend more time educating people about gardening. And we have a few master gardeners that help us. And we're looking for more to spend some time and teach people gardening.
Oh, that is so wonderful. And I do know how gardeners think, kind of, because I'm dealing with 7 of them on that tour of mine. And all the time I hear, well, I'm not ready. And I feel like, my gardens kind of suffer. And I kind of lost my husband this year. So now I don't have anybody digging things or whatever. But I don't know how I'm going to clean all those weeds. It's an ongoing process.
It is. It's a daily process.
Mm-hmm.
Really. But I know you have other people that help. Now, wait a minute. You didn't mention your number one, your husband.
Oh, yes.
I think we have to thank Wayne.
We certainly do. When we need someone to dig or move or carry, he is our number one guy. Go-to guy. And this last week, we were, Christine and I had our picture in the Star Observer, standing in front of 2 large bins of weeds that we had pulled. And they were so heavy that neither of us or together could we push them. So we had to employ Wayne to do it for us again. And he's always cutting and doing something, fixing the sprinklers.
I appreciate him too. I mean, it really helps when the guys get involved. And, if we can give them directions, it works well.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Now you kind of covered a little bit of this. I had a question that was, what flowers are you featuring? Well, is there any more that you wanted to mention?
We are trying to go back to many of the flowers that were prevalent back in the days of Victorian gardens. So we're going to all of the old flowers, the astilbes, the columbines, peonies, irises, all of those. And in spring, we have this idea that we're going to plant tulips and have a mini tulip festival in our garden. And we will order enough bulbs so that when people see these, they can plant their own tulips just like them. So we're on this new fast forward thinking of how can we keep educating people outside as well as they do so well inside.
Great ideas. I love the part where you're going back to that time. So are you talking 1800s?
We are.
Okay.
And then forward.
And forward up to the future. Oh, and then I asked, how do you choose the flowers? Well, you kind of explained to me that you're going back to the time when they were living in the house. And I believe it was the Moffat family.
Yeah.
So
we do, but the real truth of the matter is we go to the garden centers and we see what's available at our price point in terms of annuals, and we just fill in from our perennials. Our perennials often come from our own gardens.
Oh, I bet they do. And you know everything about that as far as transplanting or whatever you have to do. So that's something I haven't gotten into yet, but someday maybe. But anyway, I appreciate all that and I appreciate the people. Now, back by that wonderful area going to the museum, I believe, is there going to be a clematis this year?
Yes, they're all doing very, very well.
Good, because
we
I
have
just love
two-
that.
And we have two that have just popped up as we've weeded. They've just blossomed and come to life
Wonderful.
again.
That's an area I like to go to. So I hope everybody knows when they come to the house, it's not just around the house. There's a lot of other areas of plantings, and they really need to go over there too. So anyway, yeah, I was going to thank the volunteers, and I know how long it takes to do that, but I do think you are the head organizer. So I really appreciate you, Jean.
We
And I hope you
couldn't
know
do
you're
any of this
thanked.
without Jean.
I know that. And, I've been lucky because I think I've been doing this 7 years. And before me was Dolores Tavola. And you must have worked with her. And I have just learned so much. And I'm still a work in progress. I will say that. But you two are really, I don't know, you're like the head organizers of the whole Octagon house and the garden. So I want to tell you how much I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And I
thank you.
love to go there. All right, I'm going to end the show with a little bit of news on the Artful Garden Tour. And I want to tell you that, of course, we start at the Octagon House and we sell the most tickets there. And on Sunday, the trolley stops there. And that is a wonderful, almost 4-hour ride because I've kind of got gardens spread out this year. Okay, so I have 2 in North Hudson. We go out to County Road E in Holton, and I have a farm out there. I was just there yesterday. Unbelievable plantings, a lot of perennials, and a lot of what she calls heirloom plantings, which means the families on both sides have passed them down. And I love that. Okay, then we go to our bonus garden, which is the O'Connell Family Funeral Home in honor of Mike O'Connell, who passed a few years ago. He was my student in elementary school. So they have 2 little islands that are really fun to see. You don't even have to stop, really. You can just drive around. And then we go to Heidi Leeson's up on Hazel Crest Drive. Her garden is like a big slope down with lots of terraces, lots of shade. And she has managed to get so many plantings, plus a bridge down there. Okay, then the last one I call the creme de la creme is located in the Cove area, and it's south of town about 5 miles. So here's what we're doing. We're going from Holton all the way to the Cove. Now, can you picture the trolley doing that on Sunday? Well, anyway, it's going to be a wonderful ride. Hopefully, I won't mention the 4-letter word because it does it every year on Sunday for us. So anyway, if you're interested in this, I'm going to, you already know how to contact me at this station, but I'm also on Facebook, and there's a Hudson Women's Club. I think it's .org. I'll have to look it up, but anyway, Nate knows how to do it. And you can go on that website too. So now I'd like to thank my 2 guests today. I really enjoyed this talk. And it's been too long since you've been on, so we're going to do it more. And thank you so, so much for making that beautiful garden and for the upkeep and running that Octagon house. Every time I'm in there, I'm like I'm in a different world, and I love it. So I plan to go on some tours again too, maybe the Christmas one. But ladies, thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you to the audience for watching. I hope you'll visit Hudson very soon. You can go to the Octagon House and you can get lots of information on the website for the Women's Club. And you can also contact me and I will personally help you with the information is what I'm trying to say. So thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show today.